More than $26 million of your tax dollars was spent on overtime pay for the Department of Corrections staff, and that is nearly triple than it was 3 years ago.
This comes as the department continues to experience an unprecedented staffing crisis. ABC 17's Joe McLean continues his investigation of the Department of Corrections tonight and covering how expensive the state's prisons are getting.
Take a look at how much has been spent on overtime pay for corrections officers over the last few years. $7 million in 2013, $8 million, $9 million, then a big jump in 2016 and 2017, and then last year, the biggest increase of all, of about 38%, $26 million. That's about $500,000 every single week that's going to staffers' overtime costs. These numbers make a little bit more sense when you look at the number of staff vacancies over the same time period. They stay relatively steady until 2016, when the number of open positions nearly doubles, then nearly doubles again. Right now, the department is actually missing more than 15% of its needed staff.
Well, it is extremely bad. We're short-staffed virtually everywhere in the state.
Gary Gross started the Missouri Corrections Officers Association about 19 years ago and has been working to lobby the state to make prison workers' pay more competitive. The national salary average for this position is $47,600 a year. Missouri pays second to last at just under $31,000 annually. Gross says this is one of the main reasons that Missouri is having a hard time keeping the department staffed. Another challenge, holding on to the officers they do hire.
While the state are hiring a pretty good number of people, they don't seem to be staying. They seem to be rolling over certainly as fast as they're getting them hired.
And that process, experts say, isn't cheap.
There's a pretty large cost to training folks that are not staying.
If we're training them and they're leaving 2 months later, we've wasted a lot of money, a lot of state money on that. So we've got to find an answer to that.
It's not uncommon to see, Missouri corrections officers heading up to Iowa on a very regular basis because of the pay difference. They can get started there at a higher wage, but then also they can get guaranteed step raises along the way.
How much higher? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly $20,000 more a year just by crossing the border and doing the same job. A DOC spokesperson said in an email, quote, "The Department of Corrections is working closely with Governor Parsons' administration to explore recruitment and retention-focused pay raises for corrections staff. Efforts such as pay raises are intended to decrease vacancies, which will in turn decrease the amount of comp time paid each year." Gross says he isn't convinced that recruitment and retention will fix the problem.
That would certainly all just be Band-Aids. It'll be a temporary fix. They're going to have to increase the pay.
He, of course, means state lawmakers who say they recognize the problem and plan on fixing it.
I think they're trying to do a good job, but I think that we can do more.
And it's a tremendous problem. It really is. The corrections officers need to be making more money.
I ran the numbers and found that if the Department of Corrections was fully staffed last year, it would have saved the state of Missouri about $3.5 million in overtime costs. Just that money would be able to fund a $300 annual increase for every correction officer in the state of Missouri.